Hello, Brother Wilson. I'm going to be teaching your daughter, Lisa. I hope that's her name. If not, please correct me. Um, send me an email or something and correct the name, the mistake, because I asked you that one time, but I don't know. I for some reason I think I forgot, but hopefully not. Anyways, I know that she loves the Spanish language, so I thought it would be a good idea to teach her a popular dish in Spain that looks like this. Give me a second. Looks like this. I hope you can kind of see it. It's really popular, and also I'm gonna be teaching her some history of my country, so she can have a cultural experience. Elisa is 16 years old, so she's in the formal operational stage. She can use reason, logical thinking, and she has a better sense of justice. Which is why we will analyze history context and have a conversation about the things that happen in Spain in the different periods of time that I'm gonna be teaching her. Now I'm gonna give you more details about my lesson plan, and just gonna mention that my lesson plan contains two different parts. The first one, I'll teach you how to make a meal, and while we're making the meal, we will be having a friendly conversation. As a teacher, as a future teacher, I find really important to get to know my students individually, and so I can get to know them better. This is going to help her social cognitive as we interact with each other, and I will hopefully lower the anxiety levels of both of us, since she doesn't know me and I don't know her either, so we don't know each other. So this is gonna be, a good thing. I will ask her questions and make her feel comfortable, and we'll talk about her and about me too, which is some interaction. And according to Erik Erikson, I know that for teenagers, social relationships are important to develop a strong sense of self. So that's why I thought that cooking and interaction would be a good thing to do before we start the actual history class, which is not going to be easy. One of the things I want to tell her while we are making the meal is that Spanish food from Spain is not spicy. That's just to break a misconception that people have about food from Spain and food from other Hispanic country. Like they all think that our dishes are just like Mexico with spicy food, and we like spicy food. And I just want to break that misconception. The second part of my lesson is going to be an actual history class. First, I will test her schema by asking her how much she knows about World War II and the Cold War. The reason why I need to know is that in order to have a better understanding of the dictatorship, you need to have knowledge about these two wars. Depending on how much she knows, about these two wars, I'll go into more detail or less detail. I would love to achieve a mastery of learning. As we go through this lesson, I will explain events in a chronological order, and I want her to learn the first topic before moving to the next one. Otherwise, she won't learn or understand very well what I'm teaching her, because these concepts build up on each other. But basically, my lesson is going to cover the years of the Republic in Spain, what the nationals believed, what the Republicans believed, what was the conflict, the Civil War. Then we're gonna move to the next one, which is the Civil War. Franco as a leader, how he won. Then the next step will be the dictatorship of Franco. Who he was, what happened at the time, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the tortilla is gonna be linked with Franco because he liked that dish. So we are actually making a dish that he used to like, and it's a popular dish in Spain also. But since he liked it, she's gonna know at least the name of the person that we're gonna be talking about, who's gonna be the protagonist of my lesson, of course. And then we're gonna talk about, where, as I said, the dictatorship of Franco. What happened after World War II? What was the situation of Spain in World War II during the dictatorship? After World War II, what happened? And then during the Cold War, what happened? These are important things to understand that part of history. And then the transition to democracy. How Juan Carlos made that possible. What was the relationship of Juan Carlos and Franco at the time? And that's how my history lesson is gonna end. It's gonna end with democracy, when Spain achieved democracy. This lesson will help her cognitive domain, because we're going to analyze and evaluate information together and talk about what happened. My main goal is to turn the information into knowledge by having a discussion with each other and making the history more fun to learn, by telling her a story instead of so many history facts. People usually like stories, so I'm hoping that she will stay, interested, and that this will stay in her long-term memory. I know that's maybe I'm having too high expectations, but I don't know. I really gonna try to make this as fun as possible, because as I said, like, history lessons can be pretty boring sometimes. So yeah, I have so much passion about this part of history that I'm going to do my best so she can learn it as well as she knows her ABCs. I'm going to show her a PowerPoint with some visualizations, and when I explain the dictatorship, I will show her a prototype of irony. Yeah, that's interesting, right? This prototype of irony happened during this period of time, and it's a document that was published that said that what the document said was referring to all the Spaniards and Franco followers, and it said something like, "Don't worry, Spaniards, everything is gonna be just how it is, even though we approve the law of succession." That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting, because law of succession is actually what changed everything. But it was said that it wasn't going to change anything. But thanks to that law, Juan Carlos was the one who substituted Franco after he died. So it's just a really interesting part of history, and I think it's a good prototype of irony of that period of time, that document. And I'm gonna show it to her. I'm gonna explain to her what happened, but really in a form of a story. I'm gonna try to make it a story instead of so many things, because I'm gonna be teaching a lot of history, a lot of different periods of time. So it's important for me to make it, I don't know, as close as possible to a story. You know what I mean? Then okay, so I will be really positive with her to help her self-esteem. I don't know, she has a high self-esteem or a low self-esteem, but even those people that have a high self-esteem, sometimes they get days of low self-esteem. I think that's human, and I don't want her to have that experience with me, so I'm gonna do my best to be super positive. And we're going to have chocolate after the lesson. I hope that's okay with you. I know that intrinsic motivation is probably better than extrinsic motivation, and that I probably shouldn't give her a prize for learning, But I feel like she will deserve one after giving me some of her free time to come to my house to learn a history lesson, you know? So I'm gonna give her a chocolate. At the end, I'm going to give her a little assessment to see how much she has learned and make sure she didn't have a failure to retrieve. Finally, at the end, I'll also give her a recipe and a summary of the main things that we talked about in the lesson, just in case if she ever has a decay in the future, she can look at something and can't remember maybe. I don't know, she reads through it. And that's my lesson. Thank you, Brother Wilson, for everything you have done for me, and I'm very excited to teach your daughter finally. I work really hard with this lesson plan, so I hope it's good. I'll wait for some feedback. Thanks. Bye.